Hey there, welcome to the Mobility Shop Live. It's Justin. I'm here with Jeffrey Kerr. Sorry about the little delay there. We're going to be talking a little bit about barrier-free real estate when we come back, so stay tuned. Hey there, welcome back to the Mobility Shop Live. I'm your host, Justin. I'm here joined by Jeffrey Kerr. Jeffrey Kerr is a RE/MAX broker and a barrier-free real estate specialist. So we're going to talk a little bit about your book and a couple other things around aging in place. And a thing that you've brought up that's interesting or new to me is the idea or concept of a visitable home. So visitable homes. So we'll start off. Introduce yourself, Jeff. Okay. Welcome to the show.
Well, Justin, thank you. Again, Jeffrey Kerr. I'm a barrier-free real estate specialist. So I specialize in helping people with disabilities buy and sell homes. And really my thrust is trying to keep people in their home for as long as possible.
Interesting. That makes sense, and that's sort of the concept around aging in place or aging at home. It's definitely, from many perspectives, obviously from a tax savings perspective, rather than going into long-term care homes and hospital care, and just from a community perspective and a comfort perspective from the actual people that are in their homes, is much more comfortable, I guess. I don't know how to say it. It's better to age or live at home in a comfortable environment. So we'll start off. Do you want to start off with your book?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeff's written a book here. I guess we'll.
Yeah. So
barrier-free. You see it there, barrier-free real estate. I'll bring it up to the camera there.
Yeah. So I'm author of the book, Barrier-Free Real Estate: Achieving Freedom at Home, and I wrote this book as a resource for everyone at home who wants to understand what a barrier-free, accessible home is. And I work with a lot of people who have been in accidents, a lot of people with disabilities, and they suddenly find themselves in need of an accessible home.
Right.
And they really don't know what that is. And so this is a starting point for people to understand what you can do to your home, what's out there, what's available to make your home accessible, so you can continue to live there as long as you want.
Right, and we've talked about this at the Mobility Shop a few times, but what are sort of maybe the top kind of areas in a home that maybe people would want to consider? Yeah. Throw the hardball question, I guess. What are some of the areas? Do you cover sort of key areas of the home that you might want to consider first?
Yeah, so
and foremost, I guess.
So there's two main features in a home, and this actually ties in with the question of the concept of a visitable home as well. So ideally what you want an entrance solution and a bathroom solution. And an entrance solution allows you to go in and out of your home with a level entrance, a no-step entrance, and just be able to get in and out of your house safely.
Right.
And a bathroom solution is really just that, a bathroom that you can access so you can stay in your home. And that's either a main floor bathroom that is large enough to have a wheelchair or a mobility device in the washroom with you, or in some cases on the second floor, if you have a mechanical lift up to the second floor, something with a roll-in shower.
Right.
So really it comes down to the entrance, being able to get in and out of your house, and a bathroom so you can stay.
Okay, so those are the two main, obviously, focuses.
Yeah.
They have to get into the house, or exit, and then obviously if they need to use the washroom, that's definitely ideal.
Yeah.
That's so from a visitable home. So that's a new concept to me. Actually, you brought that up. I read it when we were discussing this. So it's definitely interesting. So that's, I think, the concept would be more for not your primary residence. It's more for somebody who's, so let's say the daughter or son or the caregiver or whoever, someone where that person is going to be visiting that home, you know, maybe on a regular basis, and you want to make it accessible. And it could be family members or friends or anyone, right? So the idea is the visible home. And I guess, I don't know if you want to touch on, you kind of touched earlier, we were talking a little bit about the extension to more of the commercial side as well, around sort of the communities, right? Which would be sort of the visitable community, if you will.
Yeah. Okay.
Not to coin a phrase, but you know, the you know, kind of what is it, the friendly age-friendly communities.
Yeah. So let me just circle back a little bit. Circle back a bit to the book, because you asked me about the book. And, and so when I'm working, or when someone suddenly finds themselves in need of an accessible home, or they're planning ahead for an accessible home, you know, the bathroom solution, the entrance solution are the main features. And then you can go a step further. You can look at the kitchen. If the homeowner, if they're the primary cook in the family, then you look at some features within the kitchen. And then if it's a 2-story home, then you've got to look at the options for getting from the main floor up to the second floor, and sometimes down to the lower level. So that's when you get involved with some type of mechanical lift. So that's a very high level, Cole's Notes version of an accessible home.
Right.
What you were asking about age-friendly communities is taking that sort of a step further, and it's a World Health Organization initiative that is encouraging municipalities to make the greater communities accessible. And because if communities are designed for older adults, from anyone, from the age, I guess anyone, regardless of age, but then those communities will then lend themselves well to people either, from the age of 8 up to 88 and older.
Right.
And so the World Health Organization is saying, make your communities accessible for older adults, and then everyone will feel welcome. Toronto has a Toronto Senior Strategy 2.0, which I'm a member of.
Is there a board then, or
there's a committee? There's a committee group,
okay.
and so that's a City of Toronto initiative.
Okay. And you mentioned it's sort of separate from the AODA stipulation or regulations from a retail store or commercial space.
Yeah. Some
of the regulatory requirements there.
Yeah. So the AODA is dealing with some more commercial buildings.
Right.
It's not really getting into residential.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of initiatives out there that are just making the communities and our homes just age friendly.
Right. So I'll throw you a little bit of a twist here, a question. We didn't prep this one. Just, I mean, from my own perspective, I mean, I know my parents, they sold their home. My father was in an unfortunate accident. They ended up selling their house because it was a multi-story home to get into a bungalow. Yeah. This is a number of years ago. Yeah. When somebody's looking for a home, what are some of the, if they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, or if they're, someone, in their 40s, maybe have aging parents, what are some of the things that you would say as a home buyer they should be looking for? Obviously, we talked about, the entranceways, but I mean, are there, things that are built specific for, that type of transition, or what are some of the recommendations that you would make if you're like a checklist, if you were sort of looking at, a home buyer that's considering these issues?
And that's a great question, because that's something that I get approached with a lot.
I would assume
so when I'm working with a home buyer, I like to look at the big picture, assess what their needs are now and what they are in the future.
Right. So you look current and then
exactly. You look at your immediate needs. Your maybe in 5 years and maybe at 10 years as to where they see themselves, and because your needs now will definitely be changing over time. You've got to look at the greater community around you. What's important? Are access to doctors and hospitals important? What about groceries? You want to be able to have easy access to your corner store. All these things, socialization. Where are your friends located? Where's your family located? So you're looking at the space itself, but you're looking at the community as well. And again, looking at it now, 5 years, 10 years from now, And also, I always encourage people to talk to an occupational therapist. You had Margot.
McWhorter,
Yeah,
we saw it yesterday.
she was in yesterday.
Yeah.
She's an OT. I always encourage my clients to talk to an OT to look at what they recommend in terms of incorporating into your house, your condo or your house. Talk to your family doctor about some things that you need to think about longer term, because you want to plan ahead. And that's, in a nutshell, to answer your question, I always encourage clients to plan ahead.
Right.
And if people plan ahead, then it makes it that much easier down the road.
Yeah, so it's taking sort of that bigger picture, broader picture look of, you know, whether the amenities sort of in the immediate vicinity, obviously your access to community, access to family and friends, which, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, I think is key, is one of the most important things, you know, in health in general, is being in that intertwined community and being able to get out and interact with other people, which is key and important from a mental health perspective and overall health perspective. So you've got the book, you're on the board.
Yeah.
How can people connect with you, I guess, if they wanted to talk with you, or where can they pick up the book?
Oh yeah, so you can actually go onto my website, but it's available on Amazon. If you're interested in a hard copy, you can pick it up from Amazon, either hard copy or as an ebook. But what I was going to mention is I'm going to be at the Abilities Expo next weekend, and I'll be actually presenting. It's a topic called Modify or Move. And that's one of the questions I get asked a lot. Should I modify my home?
It's a very interesting question, yes.
Or should I move? So I've actually...
Costs associated with either, or,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So I've actually
or the benefits, right?
Yeah. So it comes down to the individuals, to what's right for the individual. But I've actually put together a presentation that I'll be presenting once on Saturday, the 20th, once on Sunday, the 21st at the Abilities Expo, and that's at the International Center in Mississauga. So I want to invite everyone to come out to that. It's an expo of companies and people that focus on people with disabilities, and it's a great learning experience, and there'll be lots of presentations there.
Right.
And
is it a one-day show?
It's a 3-day show. The 19th, 20th, and 21st, Abilities Expo, and my presentation is on Saturday and again on Sunday. Okay. So I certainly invite people.
I encourage people definitely go to the Abilities Expo.
Yeah.
I know we've been there in the past, so it's definitely an interesting opportunity to see a lot of different aspects and things that are available to them. You touched on, I guess I'll go back to your point there as well. You touched on that move or modify, or that sort of dilemma that people maybe encounter. Things that I sort of see as concerns or issues to sort of understand are the costs, right? So, the costs associated with moving, obviously property tax, different taxes that you're going to pay, obviously commissions or realtor type commissions that you would pay on the move versus the modification, where now you're looking at, how much is a residential elevator or a, other type of lifting device, and weighing those two costs. And then, I obviously a realtor, so maybe skew towards more of the the move side, but I think if they can modify for a reasonable cost, that definitely can be the option. And one of the questions I think that we get a lot, and maybe I'd actually like your take on this, is what is the resale value of a home that has been modified? I know a number of people that come in and talk to us say, if I'm going to be reselling it in 5 years, do I really want to be installing a residential elevator or a platform lift, which can be uninstalled, but sometimes there are somewhat permanent modifications that are done. What are your thoughts on that? Is there a market for modified homes? I guess that might be the next question.
So the short answer is yes.
It's a long question.
For you. That's fine. I mean, the short answer is yes, but I actually like to circle back.
Okay.
Because yes, I'm a barrier-free real estate specialist, and real estate, helping clients buy and sell, is my business.
Of course.
But I'm of the firm belief that if you love where you live, then modify it. As long as you can modify your home so you can continue to live there safely, then do it. It is expensive to move. I'm the first to admit it's very expensive to move. So I always encourage people to stay in their home for as long as possible. Bring in the professionals to modify their home. Your shop, behind us. I mean, it's great products for people to stay in their home safely for as long as they want. When it comes time to sell,
Right.
it's really important to market those homes to the right buyer, because buyers who are looking for an accessible home appreciate the money that you've put into those modifications. So it's important to reach those buyers. Traditional buyers won't pay a premium for an accessible home, but buyers looking for an accessible home absolutely recognize the
So
value.
you limit maybe your market, but you expand the value to that sort of niche market.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily limiting your market,
Right.
because with the aging population and with 14% of the Canadian population having some sort of disability,
That's interesting.
there's a
There
big
is a
market
demand,
there.
yeah.
There is demand, and it's just a question of reaching out to the demand, and that's really my specialty is finding the right buyers.
Interesting. So yeah, so I mean, the answer is yes. Obviously,
Yeah.
if what was the term you said? If you love your home, stay in it.
Yeah, if
Love it, live in it?
If you love where you live, then
That's
modify it.
Exactly. If you love
And-
where you live, modify it.
Yeah.
If not, maybe look to move out. And I mean, we talked a little bit about accessibility designed. Well, we'll bring that term up,
Yeah.
which you've mentioned here.
Yeah.
So you're looking at new condos that are built and designed with sort of wheelchair accessibility and different
Yeah.
concerns around accessibility.
Yeah.
So that would be sort of that almost that market of there is the demand, obviously, if they're building
Yeah.
condos specific to that.
Yeah, so back in January of 2017, I was approached by Daniels Corporation, and Daniels is a big condo builder in the GTA, and they are incorporating accessibility into
Okay.
two of their projects, one in Mississauga and one in Regent Park in Toronto. So they recognized the demand for accessible homes, and so they now have 1, 2, and 3 bedroom condos that have automatic door openers,
Fully designed for accessibility.
yeah, exactly. Modified kitchens, roll-in showers. So if
Are
Daniels,
they built currently?
they're pre-construction.
Pre-construction?
So, yeah, so they're on sale now, and they're looking at 2020 occupancy.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's great that a big builder is recognizing the demand and answering
Yeah.
answering the
So
answering the
that
call.
goes back to the previous question. Then obviously there is the demand. So
Yeah.
those that are maybe hesitant in the love it, I'm going to live in it
Yeah.
type mindset, but is it going to jeopardize the value of the home to modify it?
Mm.
The answer is obviously the demand is ever increasing as that bubble of of baby boomers kind of age.
Yeah.
And elders with accessibility needs
Yeah.
grows. Then obviously the demand for housing with accessibility as a built-in will only increase as well, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also important to mention. I mean, we're focusing here on older adults, but accessible homes really benefit everyone. Think of a parent with a newborn pushing a stroller; they would certainly appreciate a level entrance into a home.
Yeah. It's pretty awkward.
Yeah. So it's everyone, regardless of age. Anyone who's had surgery and wants to go home could go home faster if they had an accessible home to rehab in. So it's everyone really
it can
appreciate-
apply it across the board.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So think about those automatic door openers when you go into a store or a commercial space. I use them all the time. They're just convenient, but that's accessible.
Yeah.
And so
Our kids love them. They
Yeah.
just want to push them.
yeah, exactly. But you're carrying bags and you
Yeah.
don't you
It's
can't.
awkward. Yeah,
So
exactly.
you just hit that button with your elbow or with your knee and it's great.
Yeah.
So one thing I like to ask, because it really sort of I think brings it home for a lot of people, is whose house for the holidays. We just
Mentioned that earlier. Yeah.
yeah we just passed the Christmas season, and for a lot of you, for a lot of people, the family gatherings happen at locations that are accessible because the older they've got a parent or a
Right.
relative
Right.
with a disability then they want to welcome them into their home. So if people think of it in that terms, like I know that was the case in my house for a lot of years with my aunt with MS. We wanted to welcome her, for family gatherings. So family gatherings happened at an accessible location, and so yes, there's a market for accessible homes. The future market for accessible homes is only growing.
It's growing, right?
And something as simple as a suitcase ramp. I know you've got them here. This portable metal ramps that fold up easily for moving them, for carrying them, but they fold out and they provide a portable ramp to navigate 2 or 3 steps. I know I have one because when I'm working with clients, I want them to be able to get in and out of the homes I'm showing them.
That's an interesting, that's the tools of the trade kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I mean, it's
I never thought about that.
It's very, very simple.
New marketing push. There you go.
Yeah.
Realtors, they should all have a suitcase ramp.
Yeah.
There you go.
And if you don't, then
here's your spot.
Just stop
by and get a suitcase ramp. 6 foot folding suitcase ramp.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's just little things that if people are made aware of it and they plan ahead, really easy solutions can provide a world of difference.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So I guess to wrap it up a little bit, definitely I wanted to thank you very much, Jeffrey, for coming out. Where can they find you? What was your website again?
Yeah, I work out of Remax Unique at Yonge and St. Clair in Toronto. My website is accessiblehomefinder.com, or you can just Google Jeffrey Kerr. I know my name's on the screen there. You can Google Jeffrey Kerr Real Estate or Jeffrey Kerr Remax and you'll find me. But accessiblehomefinder.com, and that's how you'll find me.
Perfect. I'm gonna throw a little bit of a hardball here.
Okay.
One last question.
Yeah.
Where is the real estate market going in 2018
Yeah.
overall, not just accessible homes? What are your thoughts on?
Yeah.
We'll do a little bit of a twist here, away from accessible homes, just the overall housing market. What are your thoughts on 2018? Little changes, all those things.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a slow start to the market this spring, and as the weather warms, I think the market's going to warm as well. These new mortgage rules. Everything is just. I think people are just going to hit the pause button a little
uncertainty.
bit. Yeah, a little bit uncertainty, but I think it's all going to work itself out. Particularly in the Toronto market, there's so much demand from people coming into the Toronto market that it's going to rebound pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Later in the spring, but for now, people are just sort of holding back.
So we're going to get back to those crazy early 2017 highs?
I hope not. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to get back to the nutty that was
bidding wars, 20 houses, 20 cars out in the driveway.
Well, we're still going to see bidding wars because
the demand is there.
Because the demand is there.
Right. But the prices might not be escalating to such
I don't think we're going to see the levels that we saw in early 2017. I don't think that was healthy for anyone.
Right.
I think we're going to see a more balanced market in 2018, and I think that prices will continue to rise. And I've just encouraged people, if you need to make a move, then just do your homework, do your research, and plan,
like anything,
and plan ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Like anything, plan ahead. Understand what the future holds for you.
Yep.
Or at least try to understand it. Well, Jeffrey, again, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Justin,
for being on the show.
Yeah.
Again, it's the Mobility Shop Live. You can catch us here. This is the Mobility Shop. We have 2 locations in North York and in Scarborough. You can find us on the website at themobilityshop.ca or give us a call 416-775-9479. And if you want to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to us and join us, and we can discuss whatever it is that you want to discuss. All right, thanks again, and enjoy